us have a right to religion. I really believe that. But I also believe you and I have a right not to have that religion crammed down our throat. We're seeing Right to Life parades today, but where were the Right to Life parades when these Republicans cut social programs that made it impossible for the women of Texas to raise their children? There are women in this group, this unruly mob, is that what we call it, who have taken better care of children and of poor women than the people parading around us have any idea. There are women who get pregnant as a result of rape. How many of you know that? How many of you know that the rape kit doesn't clean the woman out? How many of you know that when abortion is made illegal in the nation, that becomes the #1 killer of women? Thank you for your human rights work. How many of you have noticed that all of these religions that say women shouldn't be in charge of their own lives also believe that women should be submissive to their husbands and not be rulers in the church? How many of you noticed that little? Bless you for your respect for Texas women. And finally, bless you for those of you that were here Tuesday night. Something sacred happened in this building. And it wasn't an unruly mob. It was righteous indignation. And it was the worst nightmare of the Bubbas in that building. It was democracy in action, and I bless you for that.
Boy, it's these kinds of words that restore my faith in religion. Thank you so much, rabbis and reverends. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right, we've got some really exciting people that have come back to Texas, and they've gone and made good, and they came back when we needed them. First up is, I want to introduce Lisa Edelstein. From her introduction to television as Lisa E. on MTV's Awake on the Wild Side to her role as Dr. Lisa Cuddy on the hit Fox medical drama House, Lisa Edelstein's diversity of roles run as deep as her innate talent. As Dean of Medicine and Hospital Administrator, Edelstein created some volatile chemistry, as you know, between she and the show's title character, the obstinate Dr. House. And the role garnered her the People's Choice Award for Favorite TV Actress. She has since been seen in memorable arcs on The Good Wife, House of Lies, and the hit show Scandal. But her dedication to the practice of good... I just have to say one more thing. Okay. Her dedication to the practice of good medicine did not stop with these TV roles. She is a dedicated supporter of Planned Parenthood and women's health, and we are thrilled to have her there.
I didn't want to be introduced anymore. My name's Lisa Edelstein, and I used to be a doctor on TV. I didn't go to medical school. I've never actually made a diagnosis. I don't see real patients. I have no medical training whatsoever. So, I'm about as qualified to make decisions about your health as Rick Perry and the Texas legislature. We don't need any gyneticians or polycologists around here. Somehow they just keep popping up, these politicians that don't trust women and their doctors to know what is best for their own bodies. But here's good news. This is good news for us and not so good news for them. It turns out people are not cool with politicians ending access to safe and legal abortion and getting all up in your birth control choices. are telling schools what it means to be a great sex education program. You guys that made sure that that message was heard loud and clear last week. It was amazing. So Rick Perry, I am looking at you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Together, we are all telling politicians thank you. We're all telling politicians that we are all better off when they leave private medical matters to the women and their doctors. Thank you. Thanks for being here. You guys are awesome. So excited.
You know, it's no surprise to this crowd that the leaders of both Planned Parenthood and NARAL are Texans. And
maybe it fell out. It's okay.
indeed, it's an honor to have them with us today. We have Elise Hogue, who is the new president of NARAL Pro-Choice America. She is a social change practitioner and an expert in online engagement with her passion for progressive work. Before she joined NARAL earlier this year, Elise served as the Director of Political Advocacy and Communications for MoveOn.org. Yes, and you know, she was responsible for shaping political strategy and developing communications initiatives to give the organization's 5 million members a voice in Washington. We are glad to welcome you, Elise. Welcome back to Texas, and thank you for your work.
Well, now y'all are just about the most beautiful, unruly mob I have ever seen. 24 hours ago, I was on my honeymoon in Turkey. But even over there, I heard that something special was going down in Austin, Texas. And I knew I had to be back here, back home, standing with my family of Texas women and some pretty great Texas men too. And what a homecoming this is. Some people out there might think it's funny that after months of battles and dozens of laws rolling back women's rights in 17 states, that this is the line in the sand. This is the filibuster heard around the world, and it came from Texas. But those people don't know us. They don't know what we're made of. That particular combination of courage and conviction, music and metal, that makes the Lone Star State burn bright for women in this moment when our country needs examples of heroes in action. Texas, the state that gave us revered leader, Governor Ann Richards, her amazing daughter, and my friend Cecile, Molly Ivins, has now given us a new generation of Lone Star greats for the world to know. Julian Ohosa, Kirk Watson, Leticia Vanderpoot, and of course Senator Wendy Davis. But there are millions of others, past and present, whose lives and daily deeds imbue us with the strength to fight for our independence as women, for ourselves and for our families. Like my grandma and my mom, both born and raised in El Paso, where we spent summers running barefoot and wild as girls, and the desert heat both warmed and toughened us. And like all of you, who chose to be here today when you could be anywhere else. See, because of our fierce commitment to freedom, Texans know what's at stake here is greater than our health, although that would be enough to warrant this fight. But what's at stake is our soul, the spirit of independence and respect for individuality that makes us great. Because, well, this cabal of out-of-touch legislators plot to roll back reproductive rights, the message they are sending is even more sinister. They say, we don't trust you. They say, we know better than you. And they say, we will force our will on you. And I don't know about you, but I can't think of anything more counter to the spirit of this great state than that. Trust me. Trust us. Trust our families to live our lives independently and freedom without your intrusion. Governor Rick Perry, known for being numerically challenged, has now shown that he's also vocabulary challenged. Trying to cover for his massive underestimation of the will of Texas women, he claimed that Wendy Davis's historic filibuster was a hijacking of democratic process. But we know what democracy is. Democracy is 200,000 people watching a live stream of a floor debate after cable news has cut away. Democracy is 547,000 tweets with the hashtag #StandWithWendy in a 12-hour period. And democracy is thousands of voices rising in a spontaneous chorus to prevent a vote and alter the course of history. They say we can't win. They say Rick Perry can call as many special sessions as he wants. They say that they control the process so they can alter the rules. But we've got news for them. Changing the rules does not change the truth. And when you silence one of us, you give voice to the millions who will continue to demand our lives, our choices, and our independence. If it's you who can't win, because we'll keep raising our hands and our voices. Raise your hands and your voices for freedom. Thanks for having me. It is my great honor to introduce Senator Kirk Watson.
Very much. Isn't it a great day to be in Austin, Texas? Isn't it a great day to be standing with Texas women? You know, a lot of you were at the Capitol last Tuesday night. Thank you for being there. And you may have heard some of the folks who run this building talking about people acting unruly that night. Well, I gotta tell you, I'm glad to hear him say it, because that sure was an unruly bunch that was running the Senate on Tuesday night, wasn't it? Those of you that were here, you saw the injustice. You saw rules being flouted, traditions being chucked out, and common sense being ignored, all so the folks in control could do whatever they had to do to get their way. They debased our proud chamber, all for a bill that won't do much to prevent abortions, but will do a lot to prevent legal ones. That injustice is what brought you out here today. But let's face it, the injustice that Texas women face covers a lot more than what we saw on Tuesday night. Injustice is what allows budget writers to slash women